Hello there. Welcome to video 163 from Sumit Academy. I do hope that you have subscribed to my channel. Do subscribe now so that you do not miss out on my previous or future videos. And do remember to like and share this video too. To make your task a little easier, here is a complete list of all the 163 videos available on my YouTube channel. The list is divided into the playlists under which they are available. Do take a look. In this video, we shall continue our study of the various security forces in the country and their mandate. In my earlier videos, we have already had a look at the external security forces, that is the Army, the Navy, and the Indian Air Force. We have also had a look at the four central paramilitary forces, that is the Indian Coast Guard, the Territorial Army, the Border Roads Organization, and the Assam Rifles. In our second video, we had a look at the Central Armed Police Forces, that is the BSF, the CISF, the CRPF, ITBP, SSB, and the Railway Protection Force. We had also studied the difference between the Railway Protection Force and the Government Railway Police. In this, the third video in the series, let us now study the special forces of the Government of India. Now, please do note that this is not an authoritative version of the special forces. For that, you must go to the respective websites of the force concerned. This video will only give you a quick overview to help prepare you for any examination question, especially the civil services, where all answers are to be written in about 250 to 300 words only. Now, the first of our special forces is the Special Protection Group, SPG. It was formed for providing proximate security to the Prime Minister, former Prime Ministers, and members of their immediate families, that is, wife, husband, children, and parents. Before 1981, the security of the Prime Minister of India at the Prime Minister's residence was the responsibility of the Special Security District of the Delhi Police, under the charge of a Deputy Commissioner of Police. In October 1981, a special task force was raised by the Intelligence Bureau to provide ring round and escort to the Prime Minister in and out of New Delhi. After the assassination of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in October 1984, a review was undertaken by a committee of secretaries, and it was decided to entrust security of the Prime Minister to a special group under unitary and direct control of a designated officer, and the STF to provide immediate security cover both in New Delhi and outside. Now, these decisions were taken as a short-term measures. Then, on 18th February 1985, the Ministry of Home Affairs set up the Birbal Nath Committee to go into the issue in its entirety and submit its recommendation. In March 1985, the Birbal Nath Committee submitted its recommendations of raising a Special Protection Unit, an SPU. On 30th March 1985, the President of India created 819 posts for the unit under the Cabinet Secretariat. The SPU was then rechristened Special Protection Group, the SPG, and the post of Inspector General of Police was redesignated as Director. The SPG came into being on 8th April 1985. Creation of the SPG required an elaborate exercise in order to clearly delineate responsibility of various government agencies concerned with the security of the Prime Minister. The provisions contained in the Blue Book, which lays down security guidelines for the protection of the Prime Minister, had to be harmoniously blended with this new concept of proximate security. Intelligence Bureau and the state or the Union Territory police concerned were responsible for coordination, collection, and dissemination of intelligence affecting VIP security. State, Union Territory police, and the SPG were responsible for providing physical security arrangements for the Prime Minister, while the Intelligence Bureau was to provide the required intelligence inputs to these operational agencies. The SPG functioned as a security group purely on the strength of an executive order for 3 years without a legislation, from April 1985 to June 1988. Now, the SPG was constituted and trained specially to provide protection to Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in view of the threats to him from several sources. But the organization created for the proximate security of Prime Minister Gandhi did not contemplate provision of protection to him when he ceased to be a Prime Minister and faced magnified threats. Now, SPG cover for Rajiv Gandhi was withdrawn once he ceased to be Prime Minister. After the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi in May 1991, the SPG Act was amended to provide security to former Prime Ministers and their immediate families for a period of 10 years from the date on which the former Prime Minister ceased to hold office. The SPG protects the Prime Minister by forming multiple security rings around him. The members of the innermost ring, called the Protective Detail or the PD, have the sole mission of getting the Prime Minister to safety in case of any eventuality. They carry some of the most sophisticated weapons, and personnel are drawn from the Central Armed Police Forces and the Railway Protection Force. Their primary aim is only to get the Prime Minister to safety and not to go after the attackers. See, they don't leave the Prime Minister unprotected at any one time. They are generally armed with assault rifles and Glock pistols. Oh, yes, hidden in their suits, and are well connected with the rest of the security detail through a variety of communication devices. The SPG Cat, now this is the counter assault team, form the second cordon. They are tasked with providing suppressing and covering firepower to allow enough time for the protective detail to get the Prime Minister to safety in case of any eventuality. Now again, this is a defensive force and it will not go chasing the attackers until and unless the Prime Minister is safe. They are usually in position well before the Prime Minister arrives at his destination. Our second special force is the National Security Guard, the NSG. It is a special forces unit under the Ministry of Home Affairs and was raised in 1984 following Operation Blue Star and the assassination of Indira Gandhi. And its mandate was for combating terrorist activities with a view to protect states against internal disturbances. Though under the authority of the Ministry of Home Affairs, it is not categorized under the uniform nomenclature of Central Armed Police Forces. It has a special forces mandate, and its core operational capability is provided by the Special Action Group, the SAG, which is drawn primarily from the Indian Army. The Special Rangers Group, the SRG, the police component of NSG, which also handles VIP security, is composed of personnel on deputation from other central armed police forces and the state police forces. The NSG personnel are often referred to in the media as black cats because of the black dress and black cat insignia worn on their uniform. Now, what is its mission? The National Security Guard was set up in 1984 as a federal contingency deployment force to tackle all facets of terrorism in the country. As a specialized counter-terrorism force, it is intended for use only in exceptional situations and is not meant to take over the functions of the state police forces or other paramilitary forces. Yet, over the years, its role has vastly expanded to provide personal security to influential politicians, quite independent of the real threat that they face. The NSG is now trained to conduct counter-terrorist tasks to include counter-hijacking tasks on land, sea, and air, bomb disposal, search, detection, and neutralization of IEDs, then PBI, post-blast investigation, and hostage rescue missions. The Special Action Group is the main offensive or the strike wing of the NSG. Its members are drawn exclusively from the Indian Army. The training of both the Action and Ranger groups is conducted by the officers and NCOs drawn from the Indian Army. There are two Special Action Groups tasked for counter-terror and counter-hijack operations respectively. For immediate transport airlift, IL-76MD strategic transport aircraft are stationed at New Delhi's Palam Air Force Station and are ready to deploy within 30 minutes. NSG has three Special Ranger groups, each with a strength of a battalion. Ranger group personnel are drawn on deputation from Central Armed Police Forces and the state police forces. Initially, the Ranger Group's mandate was to render logistical support to the action groups during operations, as also for guarding high-risk VIPs. However, since 2013, one Ranger Group has been converted into a regular action group unit for undertaking specific counter-terror operations. Moving on, our third special force is the National Bomb Data Center. Now, this was established in 1988 and its role was redefined in the year 2000. The center was assigned the role of monitoring, recording, and analyzing all bombing incidents in the country. It also records and analyzes various bombing incidents across the world. And why? To gain expertise, expert knowledge in bombing and other related incidents. At present, the National Bomb Data Center acts as the nodal agency for all bombing related facets in the country. All national security agencies rely on this center for assistance in bombing incidents and related knowledge. The National Bomb Data Center primarily consists of personnel and officers from the Indian Army's Corps of Engineers, who are combat engineers. It also consists of personnel and officers from the Central Armed Police Forces with bombing related expertise knowledge. Well, that's all from me in this video. In the fourth and last video in the series, we shall study the Central Intelligence and Investigative Agencies. This video is based on the information freely available on the internet. No originality is claimed for the same. The intention of this video is only to prepare candidates for answering examination questions on the subject and not for any financial gain. Do like and share this video and do subscribe to my channel now so that you do not miss out on my previous or future videos. Till later then, cheerio.